Appreciate you guys spamming the YouTube stream here. Let's get those likes up. Let's go ahead and get those comments up. Let's go ahead and do this trade raid. About to get started here soon. Appreciate you guys coming on board. Sound check. Let me know if you guys hear me pretty well here. We can get started here soon. I'll keep it right there. All right, here we go. Hey guys, welcome to the Meet Damien channel. Hopefully, all right, yeah, I see trades in the live stream saying that the sound is good. That's good to hear. We're doing a live stream here with both YouTube and TikTok, and my YouTube is kind of blowing up right now because Trade Intuition's in the chat with his trade army over here, and they're doing a trade raid right now. So I appreciate you guys coming on here. Looks like you guys might be outdoing my TikTok streamers here because I'm also doing a TikTok live stream. And yeah, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin here. We're talking about cryptocurrencies. Title of the video is, will Bitcoin get past the 106K sell wall? All right. We'll take a look at the sell wall that I see for Bitcoin, and then we'll get into the charts. We'll do some TA here. We'll do some of your requests. We'll look at some of the cryptos that you guys want to look into. We can also talk about stocks. Stock market is currently trading right now, but I think most of my streams end up being cryptocurrency focused, so we'll stick to whatever you guys want to stick to. But yeah, let's look at Bitcoin currently trading at. Oh, well, it was just at $104,000. It's flirting with it right now. $104,000 seems to be the price that it likes to stay at for now. Bitcoin just been trading sideways, as you guys know, all throughout this past week here. We had our last big impulse move last Thursday. Then we tried, I think, what was it, on Monday here? Monday we tried to get up to like we almost hit $106,000. We got up to 105,787, but that 106K sell wall, which I titled right here, it's no joke. It's a previous sell wall that's been there, mainly because if you look at the charts here, we're on the daily time frame here. You'll see some candle opening and closings around that level, okay? Which is very important for traders that use candlestick chart patterns to know that they're, like we have 106K as opening and closing. That's where traders are going to put their sell orders in, and maybe some take profit at that level. Some people open up their shorts. There's a lot of activity at that level there. So we want to see if we can be able to break that 106K sell wall this weekend. That would be nice for a good way to end the week here for Bitcoin. But yeah, let me just get into the charts here. You can see that we visited about 107K, I believe, for the first time on December 16th here. Okay, that's how high we got with Bitcoin. We almost hit 108 grand. But we closed the candle out at 106K, and then here on Tuesday, the following day, we actually saw Bitcoin get up to $108,000. That was like all-time highs, and we closed out that candle at 106,136. So keep that in mind. 106 comes up on deck here, and right here at 106K is where we opened up on Wednesday, December 18th. Okay, so that's a very important resistance level to keep in mind. Also, right over here, you can see in January, we contended against that 106K level again. We had a candle wick here on Sunday, January 19th, right before Donald Trump got inaugurated. And then the following day on January 20th, when he did get inaugurated, we peaked out. We had a big high candle wick that brought us to like $109,000 Bitcoin. We didn't really close there. But the following day, with the bullishness from Donald Trump getting inaugurated and whatnot, markets did push up because they're waiting to hear some executive orders about a crypto strategic reserve. and they pushed the price up to $107,000 again, but they closed out at 106. So there's that $106,000 number right there. And then here we are on Wednesday, January 22nd. We started off near $106,000, but we lost that. And we tried regaining it again with a candle wick here. Back here on January 30th. So this 106K is no joke. It's now showing history on the charts, and that is why we're having trouble breaking past that right now. That is your resistance level for 106K. Okay, but if I take this Fibonacci and we break through 106K, right? If we just make that our our impulse move here, retracement, down to like where we started here at 93K, 94K on Cinco de Mayo, we have a 1618 that says that Bitcoin could get up to like 113,000, almost $114,000 if we can break past this 106K number here. That's all we have going for us, because this is like no man's land, undiscovered territory, uncharted waters, whatever you want to call it. We can only use Fibonacci extensions to kind of guess where the price might go once we hit all-time highs here. And I just put this Fibonacci starting off at 106K, going down to 94K, and it's guessing that 1618 could say we could see a Bitcoin at $113,000, $114,000 roughly. And if it continues being more bullish, then the 2618 is saying that we could see $125,000 Bitcoin in the near future. Now it seems like I'm over here talking about Bitcoin, and it is kind of dropping down on us right now at 103,825. I think I started off the stream, it was at $104,000. So I apologize, guys, for dropping the price on you guys here. But if Bitcoin does come down, we are looking at some support here that I've seen, especially on the 4-hour time frames, but you can also see it on the daily time frame. It looks like Bitcoin is respecting the $101,400 level here. That is, if you're short-term trading Bitcoin, that is a level that you want to hold, okay? Because if you don't, then you have to start wondering if Bitcoin is going to go to lower prices here. And if it does go to lower prices here, we do have the deep retracement, the 0.236 level at $97,000. I think that level is going to be the level to look for if Bitcoin loses 101.4 for that level. It also says here that we could see maybe a reaction near $98,000 or roughly $99,000 here. But I think $97,000 could be the deep retracement if we do lose these levels and come down pretty hard. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn on the VRVP, and you're going to see that the VRVP agrees with that $97,000 number if Bitcoin does decide to go down instead of going up. So let me go ahead and turn that on here. You're going to see a bunch of lines here. You got the green and red bars here, and as it gathers the data, you'll see that there's this blue line. This is my point of control. The blue line is at like roughly $96,500, so roughly like $96,000, $97,000. You also see here with the green and red bars that we have a lot of volume on the VRVP here, okay, where we should get support at $96,000, $97,000 if Bitcoin decides to come down. We should get some support. If we lose that $101,000 level that I was talking about earlier, I would start putting in some buy orders in to see if you can scoop up and get lucky enough to get Bitcoin at 97K again. But yeah, let's see. I got some requests here. I think that finishes up my analysis on Bitcoin. I did upside and downside targets for you guys. I see Trade Intuition has a request for Aave. All right. I think you might have misspelled it a little bit, but I believe you said you want Aave. Okay, so we'll look at Aave. And then let's see if I got another request here. Appreciate you guys coming on to the stream here. You're keeping it lively. I love to see that. All right, so yeah, we'll start off with Aave for now, and then let's see what my TikTok guys are saying here. Let's see if you guys got any requests. I'm starting to take requests now. We just did the Bitcoin analysis, and now it's time to look at some of these altcoins that might be doing pretty well. All right, if I don't get any more requests, I do have some coins I want to look at that I think might do well this weekend. and that's going to be SUI and XRP. I think are going to do pretty well this weekend if Bitcoin does pretty well. And then we'll take a look at you know, the usual Solana and Ethereum. But let me get into my special request here from Trade Intuition. We'll look at Aave. All right, yeah, Aave USD. Let's see. Okay, we'll check it out on Coinbase. So we're looking at Aave right now, currently trading at $232 and up about 3.7% today. We're using the VRVP here to let us know what the levels might be, what the strongest levels might be. And the strongest level on Aave is going to be where this point of control is, okay? I'm on the daily time frame. I got data going back to like almost around Christmas time in December. So the VRVP is compiling all the trading, all this buying and selling, all throughout the past weeks and months that we've had in the last 6 months here, and it gives us this these green and red bars here that shows us where people were buying and selling Aave, and it gives you an idea as to, like, you know, where people might want to sell if they're trying to get back to break even. Okay. All right, for people, you know, in this case, we've seen Aave come down in price throughout the last few months. It looks like Aave possibly bottomed here. And now we want to see, you know, where we might get some resistance. If we're going to continue climbing higher, where are people going to start selling? You know, because maybe you might want to sell before they sell. Okay. All right. But anyways, the strongest volume right now says that a lot of people scooped up some Aave at this point of control, where 50% of the volume was traded at. According to this data, and that was at 167 bucks. Okay, so right now Aave is above the point of control, which is good. But if Aave loses its bullish momentum, then, you know, we could come down to that point of control and maybe get some support, and you might be lucky enough to buy Aave again at 167 or 170 bucks. Now, if Aave does decide to come down, it should get a little bit of support, because I see some high volume nodes before we hit 170. I see over here at 220 bucks there should be some support there, and then also here at 206 bucks there should be some support there. And then of course, if it does drop down further, there's even more support at like 180 bucks, going down to like 167 bucks. Okay. Now, I do have this white line here. This is a value area low. Okay, that's where like 15% of the volume was traded at on the VRVP. So not as strong as the POC, but still pretty significant. You might get lucky enough to buy Aave at 154 bucks if it does come down. Okay, but yeah, that's using the VRVP. Obviously, if you want to continue using the VRVP to know when to sell as this thing climbs up to higher prices, then if we do climb to higher prices, there is some volume at like 260 that might provide some resistance, and that's pretty obvious, because looking back here in February, early February, you had some sideways trading action. The people that bought here and thought they were catching the bottom, they suffered a little bit here, and they might want to end their suffering by selling at break even at like 260. So 260 is probably going to be a resistance level for Aave as it climbs up to higher prices. But then the volume drops off on the VRVP, and then you got some volume here at 290 bucks and 200, like around 290, 294, and that's where some people were buying up and scooping up Aave at back in January. Okay, but if it pushes up higher than that, then you have the value area high, which is another roughly 15% of the volume out of all this data here, and that is showing that a lot of people are probably going to sell Aave at 313 bucks. You got a good amount of people that probably want to sell because they thought they caught the bottom or whatever correction that they were at over there. Okay, so I would probably have a long-term target of about 313 bucks for Aave. Okay, and I think you're doing pretty well if Aave gets up to 313, because that should be about roughly a 50% gainer. We'll just measure that out real quick here for you. From here to the value area high, Maybe I overstated it a little bit. You're actually going to get maybe like a 35% gain on that if it goes back to the value area high. So maybe my mental math is not on point today, but yeah, about 35% gainer if Aave just gets back to the value area high. And I think that should be a long-term target on Aave. All right. And that's just using the VRVP. We'll move on to some other cryptos here. I do want to talk about SUI. I think SUI, if Bitcoin starts going nuts and going to all-time highs, I believe SUI is going to go nuts and go to all-time highs because it's a very strong project and it's also relatively lower market cap, so it can really move if need be and have a pretty good performance. Let's look at the SUI on Coinbase here. We're just using once again the VRVP. I could use other things like Fibonacci or moving averages, but I'm going to stick to VRVP because I feel like not many people use the VRVP, and it's a very useful indicator to help you guys figure out what levels you might want to be buying and selling your crypto at. But yeah, let's take a look at here. We're looking at SUI currently trading at $3.83 right now, and SUI. Let me zoom out, gather some more data. Now we're getting data from like all the way back to October of 2024 here. And it looks like the VRVP hasn't really changed that much, so it likes what we have so far. SUI is actually above its value area high, so most people bought SUI at lower prices from what I'm gathering here, okay? The majority of people bought SUI at $2.24. That's where the point of control is sitting at, that blue line. You got the highest volume node at that level, okay? There are some people that got even luckier and they were buying SUI at below $2 here. You see some high volume here. So with most of with the POC and the value area low and also the value area high below the price of SUI currently right now, you could state a case that SUI is possibly overvalued and that it might come back down to the value area high or even come down to the point of control. But I mean, SUI is one of the stronger market cryptocurrencies. It has a lot going for it. It's a it's a competitor against Solana. It's actually they measured the metrics and it actually is cheaper to use than Solana and also faster to use than Solana. So I think Solana has more developers on them. More people are using Solana right now, but SUI is right there. If there's going to be a Solana killer, then SUI would probably be it. All right, so that's why people are bidding up the price on SUI. That's why we saw SUI, back here in late April, make a monster move where it went up 21% one day, and then the next day it went up 11%, and the day after that it went up about 12%. It had this big giant impulse move, traded sideways, created a bull flag, and now it's doing the same thing. It went up 21% on May 8th, last Thursday, and now it's kind of doing consolidation again, creating a bull flag. And is this thing possible? Is it possibly going to do the same thing here? I'll use a little bit of a chart pattern analysis using the bull flag, okay? And don't hate me too much on my bull flags here. I'm just quickly doing this just to get ideas like what SUI might do next here. Okay, but if I take this, I'll even draw out the bottom here as much as I can. Okay, but if I just take the measured move out of the flagpole and we put it to like where the price could break out here, like 383. Yeah, let's see, right there. Okay, it's saying that we could see a $4.87 SUI in the future, and I believe that's still possible for SUI to do. Because we have seen SUI get up to about 535 back here in January. And then now looking at the VRVP, yeah, there's some high volume here at like 420. Okay, people probably thought it was funny to buy SUI at 420 for those that know. Okay, but then there's also some high volume here like 475 and 480. Okay, but then once we get past like 480, 487, the volume starts to taper off and die off, and that's probably where we'll see SUI at $5 again, and then off to the races. And then of course I have my Fibonacci analysis where I measured SUI back when it used to be 79 cents here in September, all the way up to where it topped out at 537 in January. It's saying that there's a 1618 level here that we could see an $8 SUI. You basically be doubling your money with SUI. So, yeah. Trade, you like that? Don't hate me for the bull flag. Chart pattern analysis, like inverse head and shoulders, cup and handles. They do show up on the chart, so they are a thing. And I think, you know, especially with the bull flags and bear flags, I think every trader knows about bull flags and bear flags. So, you can use them as a way to figure out where the price might go next. So why not use them? Because other traders are using it and trying to game plan their trades. So yeah, it'd be nice to know where people think they're gonna take profit at. All right, so that's SUI. Do we want to get into XRP or should I save that for later? Because I feel like I should save XRP for later, because most people are going to just come in later on in the stream and say, hey, can you look at XRP? Can you look at XRP Ripple? And, you know, I'm just going to be like, we just talked about it 30 minutes ago. So I think I'll save XRP for later. Let's look at Solana. Since I talked about the SUI being a Solana killer, let's take a look at the Solana. And then, of course, you know, you guys can put in your requests. But we'll look at the Solana and then Ethereum. And then I'll start looking at some of your other requests here. All right, I see OMS put a request in for Cookie, Tau, and Ondo. Okay, all right. I'll do it in that order there. Cookie, Tau, and Ondo. Hungry man asking for three cryptos. All right. But you're keeping me busy, so I appreciate that. Don't forget to hit the like button. Let's go ahead and get the likes to match the amount of people that are in the live stream right now, guys. So we can get more people to come join this live stream here. All right. So what do I said? I wanted to look at the Solana, and then I guess I'll look at Cookie, Tau, Ondo, and then we'll come back to like Ethereum and XRP after that. All right. So here we are with Solana, currently trading at $171. Just using the VRVP. Okay, I might start throwing in the moving averages here as well, but looking at Solana is currently at 171 bucks. We're on the daily time frame here. You can see that you know, using the VRVP, we got gaps here, right? There is a gap. If Solana loses 170 bucks for any reason, it could gap down and come right down to 150 bucks, which is where it was trading at around early May and late April. Okay, so just as quickly as we came up, we could just come down, because there's no support. There's nobody that bought at that area, pretty much, or even sold at that area. So we could come down to 150 real quick, just based off the VRVP. All right, and then if we lose 150 bucks, then Solana could come down to 126, is where the point of control, the POC, is at. All right, so that is a strong level for Solana. If Solana does decide to become bullish here, based on the VRVP data, we do have a value area high saying that we could see $195 Solana all over again in the near future, because that's basically where a lot of people were buying Solana at back in the beginning of February and late to middle January here. Okay, $195 would probably be the next resistance level for Solana. Now let me go ahead and turn on the moving averages here, so you guys can see if there's any resistance or support for Solana with moving averages. And Solana has been trying to get past this 200-day moving average, acting as resistance at 181 bucks. So once we get above 181 bucks, I think and we actually stay above 181 bucks, I think Solana would try to make that move towards 195 or even $200 Solana. But currently, we are dragging our butts here on the 100-day moving average, which is acting as support right now at $168. Okay, If we lose that, then we could come down to the $158, just like the VRVP was saying. The VRVP is saying that $158, and also the 50 moving average here at $147. This is going to be another good support buy zone area for Solana. Okay. So yeah, the VRVP, I believe, agrees with the moving averages. So that's where you get some confluence with the indicators and the tools here, the trading tools that we use. All right. So yeah, that's Solana in a nutshell for the most part. I gave you the downside targets, upside targets. Downside targets, we could see 150 again. Upside target, we could hit 195, 200, $200 Solana in the near future here. All right, but we have to get past that $181 200-day moving average, which is acting as pretty firm resistance right now. All right. Don't forget to mention Meet Damien coin. There's not a Meet Damien coin, but maybe one day there will be. All right. Why not? And of course we'll probably put that on either the Solana or the Sui ecosystem for meme coins. We'll make a Meet Damien meme coin one day. But yeah, maybe you guys can try to do that on your own time. I know you can create a meme coin. Maybe you can do that for me. All right. Moving on to what are we gonna look at? We're gonna look at the Cookie, and then Tau and Ondo, and then we'll try to circle back to Ethereum after that. All right. Yeah, let's look at Cookie. Give me some cookies. I'm a little bit hungry for some cookies. All right, we'll look at maybe on Cookie on Binance Exchange. And yeah, here we are with Cookie, currently trading at 16 cents. We're using just the moving averages right now. And I also got the RSI, stochastics, and MACD here. Not much data on the daily time frame. This is a relatively new cryptocurrency. Like, we've seen Cookie start trading on Binance back in January, the beginning of January. But then this thing has been dropping like a rock and going down and to the right, which is not what you want to do if you're trying to long it. Maybe this could have been a good short. I do have some previous chart work here where I measured using the Fibonacci analysis, which I think will still be helpful here. We topped out here at 20 cents, about 21 cents on Thursday, May 1st, after recovering from the levels here at like roughly 7 cents here on Cookie. Let me see. We'll do the bullish case first, and then we'll do the bearish case. The bullish case is that based on this Fibonacci analysis, you should see Cookie come up to like 29 cents, and that would be the 1618 Fibonacci level. And we know that's possible because we saw this candle wick here at like 30 cents on February 10th here. So whoever bought here is probably like, damn it, I need to sell. But I don't want to lose. I'm not a big fan of losing, so I'm just gonna break even. So there's probably somebody here that's gonna sell at 30 cents, and then you could probably sell with them if it does get up to 30 cents or 29 cents in this case. I believe that would be a good area to sell, and you basically be doubling your money. Okay, whereas this other guy back here in February would just be break even at 30 cents. But anyways, let's that's the bullish case for Cookie, just using Fibonacci levels here. Let's look at the bearish case, or like what the correction or pullback could get us down to. We do have a 0.786 retracement at 17, almost 18 cents here. Looks like traders were trying to trade around that level for like the last few days, but we lost that level when we came down. It looks like we came down to the 0.618 at like 15.5 cents. Yeah, 15.5 cents was the lowest price you could have got it yesterday, May 15th. And then of course we have this 50-day moving average, which is starting to show up on the chart, and that should be providing support at like 15 cents as well. So 15 cents should be a good support level, If you lose 15 cents, then then you're probably going to end up coming down to 12 cents, the 0.382 retracement level here. We also have some sideways trading action. And then maybe it could be a deeper retracement down to the 0.236, and I think 10 cents should probably be defended if Cookie does do a really bad, if it's a bad cookie, okay? If it's a bad cookie, it'll come down to 10 cents. If it's a good cookie, you're going to see 20 cents again, and then possibly 29, 30 cents based off the Fibonacci here, okay? All right, let's move on to Tau. USD. Bit sensor. We'll look it on Binance Exchange. Why not? Let's see. Oh, cookie on CryptoCap was longer. All right. Guys, don't forget to hit that smash button like Trade Intuition has just said in the live chat here. And then let me see. Did I... Salida is asking about Cardano. I'll add that to the list. I'll probably make that the next crypto I'll talk about, Cardano. Because my buddy over here, OMS, did like 3 requests. And I need to spread the love here. Alright. And then let's see. Did I miss any other requests since anybody came in on my TikTok stream? I think just go through the chat here real quick. No, looks like that's it for now. Yeah. If I miss your request, guys, just go ahead and say it again. But I see I also got a request here for BNB, Binance Coin. All right. We'll do that one as well. All right, so going into Tau here. Tau is currently trading at $434, down slightly today. I do have some previous chart work here. It looks like I worked on this already here. Looks like we topped out at $488 on May 12th. And I had this Fibonacci taking us down to these levels here at 364. If we continue this correction in Tau, we might see the 0.236 level here at 393, which kind of corresponds to this 21 EMA, which is this white line. That could also provide some support from the moving averages here. So I would try to put in some buy orders in to see if you can get some cheap Tau for about 393 or somewhere in the 390s. You do have a 200-day moving average that could also provide support at like 409. So maybe you can write that down. You might want to buy some at 409 and also 411. You have a 0.382 retracement at 411. So yeah, you might be able to scoop up some cheaper Tau if this downtrend continues. And these are your targets, 411, 393. You also got the 200-day moving average and the 21 moving average. Could be some good buy zones here for Tau if you're trying to get some cheaper Tau right now. And if Tau continues being bullish, the Fibonacci extension level for 1618 is saying that we could see a $565 Tau. And I believe those are the levels that Tau was trading at back in October, November, and December during the little altcoin season that we had in November, December. So yeah, I think 565 is a reasonable target if you're bullish on Tau. And then you got the 2618 saying that you could sell at 689, and that kind of that level is really reaching for the high water mark here. But the high water mark, the highest price that we've seen Tau in the past 12 months was about 748. Okay, so maybe 689 is more reasonable and doable. But if you really want to reach for the stars, you could put your sell limit order in at like 740, see if it gets filled, and that's almost like a double from where we are right now. Okay, so that's the upside. Downside targets on Tau. Yep, David, don't forget. Appreciate the marketing here. Don't forget, guys, to like like the live stream, because when you do, YouTube and TikTok, they know that people are actually enjoying this content, and they're gonna send more people this way, and we'll be able to get more people with requests. And when you hit that like button and you also put a request for your cryptocurrency, it also gets people to look at your cryptocurrency, and it's gonna help pump up your bag. So you're actually doing yourself a favor by clicking that like button, because then more people are gonna look at BitSensor over here and any other crypto you guys are requesting. So yeah, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and follow if you haven't done so already, so you can keep watching these live streams in the future. So that's my shameless plug right there. We'll move on to Cardano. Yeah, Cardano. Appreciate the requests. Don't forget to hit the like button so other people can see Cardano and how good of a cryptocurrency it might be. All right, let's go ahead and we're looking at Cardano trading at 77 cents right now, up 1.3%. Cardano is contending against the moving averages that are acting as resistance right now. That 200-day moving average is a pretty big deal, sitting at like 80 cents. So 80 cents is like a difficult area for Cardano to get past right now. It tried to do that about last week. We saw Cardano get as high as like 86 cents. We need to see Cardano get back to that level again. And get above this 200-day moving average, or else we can't really be all too bullish on Cardano. If Cardano does start going down to lower prices and it's not able to be bullish, then we do have some support. I think that 50-day moving average is an average that a lot of traders are looking at. 71 cent Cardano could possibly come into play here. You could get some cheaper Cardano at 71 cents. We're hoping that 71 cents holds, because then you could still count this as a higher low. We do not want to come down to 65 or 66 cents, because you're not really making higher lows at that point. You're making the same low. Let's see, the lowest price we have here, the last higher low was at 64 cents. So you got to make sure that Cardano stays above 64 cents, or else you're not really making a higher low. So yeah, that's the bearish downside targets that we have for Cardano. The upside for Cardano, I think I do have some Fibonacci numbers here that are pretty useful. So we already know like 83, 84 cents is pretty important for Cardano, but I think if Cardano does go up higher, Fibonacci traders are probably going to start selling their Cardano at 95 cents here, which is the 0.618 retracement level from this high that we made, where we saw Cardano as high as $1.32 on the beginning of December of last year. So if you're holding on to for higher prices for Cardano, I think 95 cents should be your first take profit. Then you got the 786 retracement at $1.12. That could be another take profit target. And then also $1.33 is where there'll be probably some more people selling at that area for Cardano. And if Cardano can push past that and go to higher prices, if we see Bitcoin go to $200,000, maybe you might see Cardano at almost $2. And you got the 1618 saying that Cardano could be $1.94. Okay, and that's almost like a double. Yeah, that's a double. You'd be doubling your money with Cardano if it does that. But I think you need to see Bitcoin start making all-time highs in order for Cardano to start making new all-time highs here. All right, OMS, what do you say? You Cookie, Solana, Sui, Tau, Bitcoin, ETH, Ondo, Pixel. We already talked about Solana and Sui. We talked about Tau for you. We already did talk about Bitcoin. We got to talk about Ethereum, and yeah, I think we'll talk about Ondo next. And then I'll have to add your requests in there for Pixel. All right. Okay. So, guys, definitely putting me to work. I appreciate you guys putting me to work. I'm gonna look at some more cryptocurrencies here. All right. So yeah, that's the upside downside targets for Cardano. Let's look at Ondo. Ondo USD. We'll look it on Kraken Exchange, see what it's doing over there. So we have Ondo currently trading at 95, just shy of 96 cents. Looks like 0.9, down 0.95%. Looking at the daily chart for Ondo. Ondo is also fighting the moving averages as well, trying to get above it. 200-day moving average is the boss level resistance at $1.13 right now. I'm sorry, yeah, $1.13. $1.13 is where we need Ondo to be in order for us to be even more bullish on Ondo. Okay, right now we're cautiously optimistic. We are making higher lows. I like seeing the higher lows here. Also, kind of making higher highs, but we want to get past the higher highs here in March. I would like to see Ondo get above $1.23 and basically $1.23. If we could see $1.23 Ondo, that's clearly going to put you above the 200-day. That's also going to put you above the 100-day. You'll be above all the moving averages that are providing resistance right now, and then you can probably in the future use those moving averages as support as you go to higher prices for Ondo here, if the Ondo is going to be bullish. So yeah, I want to see Ondo get up to like $1.23 before I would start getting more excited and more bullish about Ondo. But it's working. It's putting in the work. Hopefully this is a higher low here, and then you can start pushing back up and try to break through that 200-day moving average at $1.13. Okay. If Ondo does not remain bullish and it becomes bearish, then maybe you might be able to scoop up some cheaper Ondo at the last higher low that it made, around 81 cents. Could be a good area to put in your buy orders in for Ondo. I also see another area here. We saw Ondo around like 80 cents. So maybe like 80, 81 cents. You can see if you get filled, and you just be making like not a higher low, but the same low, an equalized low, and maybe it might just be a double bottom. And that's also a chart pattern that you can play off to try to make some money. But we'll see. You'll have to ask me about Ondo in the near future here, and we'll see how Ondo's doing, if it's making higher lows and higher highs here. But yeah, I think 80 cents should be your downside target. If you lose 80 cents, you probably don't want to stick around for Ondo, because then you're gonna threaten to make another lower low. And the last lowest low that we had, the bottom, was at 66 cents here on Ondo. Okay, so do you really want to stick around for that? That's about roughly almost like a 33% haircut. I don't think you want to take that many losses, right? I'm just measuring from down. Like if you come down to 80 cents, that's about a 15% drop. That's reasonable. But if you lose 80 cents, then you come down to like 64 cents, that's a 30% drop. That's gonna hurt. Okay, so I'll probably put stop losses at like 78 or 79 cents and see if I can buy it around 80 or 81 cents and get filled in those areas. Keep the stop loss tight, just like Porky. I wonder where's Porky. We gotta get Porky in the live stream. Somebody go send a message to Porky. Tell him to get in here. But yeah, keep those stop losses tight when you can, especially if you're spot trading and doing swing trading here. All right, so that was Ondo. We'll take a look at Binance Coin and then Pixel. All right, let's take a look at BNB. USD, of course. Where could you find Binance Coin? You can find it on Binance. You can find Binance Coin on Binance Exchange. All right, Binance is currently at 648, slightly down today. What do we got here? What do we got? Currently above most of the moving averages, so that's good to see. It's above the 200-day moving average, so I can be bullish on Binance Coin as long as it's above the 200-day moving average. If it loses the 200-day moving average, then I have to start worrying, taking my bull hat off and put my bear hat on, and then I maybe have to start looking for shorts with stop losses above the 200-day moving average. Okay, but with Binance Coin, it looks like it's just consolidating here since it moved past most of the moving averages here. We got the high water mark here at 692. Okay. Let's go do a Fibonacci retracement to figure out where the high or low might come in at. I'm gonna probably have to drag this over a little bit. Yeah, okay. So, BNB. If it right now it's at the 0.5 retracement at 643 is what I have here for 0.5 retracement. You're below the golden pocket at 618. All right, so we already lost that level. If this thing continues to go lower, you got the 0.382 at 632. 632 seems to be like right where the 200 and the 100-day moving average is sitting at. So that could be a good area that could get heavy support from the moving averages, and also you got the 0.382 retracement there. You might get lucky enough to scoop up some cheaper Binance coin at $619, which is where the 0.236 retracement is at. That's also kind of like where the 21 EMA is sitting at as well. Okay. And yeah, I mean, if you lose 619, then you're losing your bullish case here on Binance. You're going to be below the 200-day moving average. You're going to be below the 100 moving average. You're probably also going to be below, you know, the 50 moving average. And yeah, I would say stop loss at like 611 or maybe 610 or 609, somewhere in that area. Because if you lose all these moving averages, then what do you have? You have nothing. You have no support. And then this thing is just going to probably continue coming down. You might see it try to revisit the lows here in April where this thing came down to 518. So just to save yourself from losing a lot of money, I probably put the stop loss right below the 50 moving average, maybe at like 605. And you probably don't want to have anything to do with Binance Coin if it can't hold 605. All right, so that's Binance Coin downside targets. Did I do upside? Upside. You got the 1618 saying this thing could get up to like almost $750. And yeah, let's see, $750. This thing did get as high as $794 back in December. I think 750 is a good reasonable target here. Let me go ahead and turn the VRVP real quick, see what the VRVP has to say. Bang, bang, boom. All right, so right now, value area high is at 676. That's a little bit lower than 750. But you have another high volume node here at 695, almost like $700. So that makes sense. That's a psychological target. Oh, 700, clean even 700. Let's sell. All right, but then the volume starts to drop off once you get past $700. You might be lucky enough to get filled at 750 for your sell order. Dennis is asking, what if you sell at 619 and it goes to 617, then snaps back to 649? Well, that's part of the risk of trading, short-term trading or swing trading. If you do see that, right? If it goes from 619 down to 617 and then comes back to where you sold it at and then goes maybe like 3 or 5% higher than that, you might want to get back in again. That 617 was your low. So you kind of have to be quick with it if you're trading and pay attention to these numbers here. Before it gets up to 649, you should probably try to buy back in again. And then you can just put your stop loss at like 615 and see if that holds, Because you already know that the low is at 617. So you just put your stop loss right below that low. That's how I would trade if I was in that situation that you're describing. All right, we'll look at Pixel, and then I'm going to do XRP and Ethereum. Pixel. USD. I'm assuming that's what you want to look at, Pixel. It's a cryptocurrency. We got it on crypto.com. Okay. So we're using the VRVP to analyze this crypto here. This crypto's trading at 5 cents right now. Down 1.9%. Not too bad. Would be better if it was up. We got the VRVP showing data going all the way back to like September of last year. So this is a good amount of data here. And the POC, very important level, where 50% of the volume was traded at. Saying that this thing, a lot of people bought Pixel at roughly 0.37, 0.037 or 0.038 pennies. So a little bit under 4 cents, okay? You got your value area low at like roughly 2 cents here, okay? And we're currently trading at 5 cents. Interesting, interesting, okay. Let me try to zoom in here now. So above the POC, you have a steep drop in the volume here. This thing has like no resistance until you get to like this value area high, this white line at 14 cents. This thing could, if it continues being bullish, this thing could scream like a rocket and get right back to 14 cents just as quick as it lost 14 cents and went down all the way to like 3-4 cents. Okay, so as fast as you came down is about as fast as you could go back up again. This could be like almost like a V-shaped recovery here. And it looks like, yeah, the low here at roughly under 2 cents, about 0.018 pennies. That is the low water mark here, okay? How would I trade this? How would I game plan this? If you told me, Damon, you got to buy now at 5 cents. Well, yeah, I would probably buy a little bit now at 5 cents. I probably put my stop loss. Well, yeah, I mean, if we came down, right? If we came down to about 3 pennies here, how much is that gonna hurt? Oof, that's about like roughly a 37% drop. Okay, so maybe not put your life savings and retirement money into this, but maybe put a little bit now, and then you could have your stop loss loose right below this this low here, this last higher low here at 0.032 pennies. I probably put that stop loss at like, yeah, maybe a 0.0, just put it at 3 pennies, okay? Put it at 3 pennies if you want to make it easy on yourself for the math. And you're risking about 40%, right? You're risking 40%, but you're risking 40% to like at least maybe get to the value area high. If you're going to sell there, you're getting a 50%, 56% gainer, but you probably want to stay in the trade longer than that. You probably want to see if this thing can get back up to like where you got some sideways trading action over here in December at like 16 cents. So at like 16 cents, you got a 219% gain on Pixel here. And as I start to zoom out here, some more, I mean, yeah, it looks like the value area, well, yeah, the value area high was right there, but like I think most of the sideways trading action was right over here. So you're risking 40% to get 200%. Okay, I think that's a good risk reward ratio. Like I said, I wouldn't put my retirement money in there. Not financial advice. I wouldn't really put a lot into it, but you got yourself basically almost a triple, a 3x here. And then if we zoom out here some more, with all this data that we got going back to like March of 2024, you got a value area high, you got a high volume node here at like 35 cents. This thing could get up to 35 cents, where people thought they were buying the bottom here in May of 2024. You would have a 578% gainer if this thing can just get back up to that value area high. That's some high risk stakes betting there. That would be very nice to see if you can get up to that level. There's no guarantee that you're ever going to get back to that level. Okay, just know that with cryptocurrencies, especially these low market cryptocurrencies, you may never get back to 35 cents. That might just be a long lost dream. Okay, you might be lucky if you can get up to like 28 cents here, where we had the high in December. Okay, But if you want to play it, you know, I mean, there's a lot of room to run to the upside. Even after you doubled your money, you can still stay in and see if this thing appreciates and gets up to like 30 cents or 35 cents here. So LMS is asking, so I should take my nanny's retirement out of Pixel? Yeah, I wouldn't really. Well, it depends. If you got in at the very low, you're doing pretty all right. You know, if you got in, what, roughly around like 2 or 3 cents, then maybe you could stay in it for the long term because you might have got the lowest low. But I'm saying, like, realistically speaking, like the value area high at like 17 cents, I think you should be selling a good amount of your Pixel at that level there. And then, you know, you can stay in the trade and see if it goes, you know, up to like 35 cents, and, you know, you'll be doing all right if it does do that. Okay. But yeah, that's just using the VRBP and targets here. I give you downside targets. This thing could come down to like 2 or 3 cents. Upside targets, this thing has a lot of room to run. 17 cents is probably a good target area. And then anything above that, you're doing pretty all right for yourself. All right, so that was Pixel. Now I think I'll move on to XRP. I'm surprised no one actually requested XRP. I was the one that decided to do XRP here. Or maybe someone did say it in the TikTok stream here. I just haven't seen it yet. Boone has asked me how low do I think Bitcoin going to come down? It has the possibility of coming down. If it does, it might come down to 101K. We want to hold that area. If not, then we might come down to 97K. I talked about that in the live stream earlier. But we'll look at Bitcoin before we end this live stream, okay? As the last crypto. Dennis is saying, so risky trading, better off just buy and hold. Everything will be 2x when the Fed lowers rates. Yeah, I mean, that's one way to do it. You know, buy the dip and then just wait until they cut interest rates, and then you should be, you know, hopefully selling as the market draws the higher prices after that. That's one way to trade or invest. All right. Is that a request for Watts? WOTKS? I never heard of that crypto. And I usually hear about most of them. All right, maybe I'll look at that after I look at Ethereum. If that even is an asset here, I don't, or maybe you might have did a typo. I don't know. I never heard of that crypto, but we'll take a look at it if I can. All right, and then I'm just going through the chat here to see if I might have missed anybody's request or comment. If I miss your request, then just request it again. Be a lot easier just to see it come pop up on me. All right, I think yeah. We'll move on to XRP, guys. I'm actually I added to my spot bags here on Ripple because I feel like Ripple is ready to pop off, and I feel like it has a lot of support to prevent it from going down either. So we have XRP currently trading at $2.40. Wow, I got all this data on the VRVP here, but just looking at just the high volume here, okay, we do have a value area high. This should be a support zone at $2.34. A lot of people bought XRP at $2.34, okay. Recently, about 15% of them bought at that level, so that should be a support area. But then look what happens when we get past $2.46 here. The volume drops. You got a little bit of volume here, like 256. But then after that, the volume continues to drop. And this is where you could get that pop up in XRP that I'm expecting. Could happen anytime here. All we got to do is get past that $2. Basically get past $2.60. And then you're going to go right to $3.12 on XRP. I also have a leveraged trade on XRP right now, and I'm anticipating to print some bank and make some money if XRP goes to $3, which I think XRP could do. because it has done that. Like, last time it was at $3 was about March 2nd. Okay, so not too far off. And we saw $3 XRP, you know, back in the beginning of January here. Okay, we saw XRP get as high as $3.40. And if XRP can get past 340, then the Fibonacci analysis is saying that we could see XRP get up to $5.21. So I do have a long-term target of $5 on XRP. Let me just zoom in. If I'm wrong, right, what could happen here with XRP? If I am wrong on XRP, then XRP has to first break the support here that it has at $2. Well, right now at $2.40 is where there's a lot of support, but then there's also some more support at $2.20. XRP has some a good amount of volume there, and then also value area low is at $1.98. Okay, I feel like a lot of XRP investors and traders are going to defend the $2 level vigorously. But if we lose $2, then we could revisit the lows here at $1.61 back in April, and that would be very unfortunate if XRP does go down to $1.60. Oh wow, Porky made it into the chat right on time for me to talk about his favorite crypto, XRP. Just in time, you made it, Porky. Glad to see you made it. But yeah, we're talking about XRP and how I see XRP. If it continues being bullish, it has to get past $2.60. But once it gets past $2.60, it's gonna go right to $3.13, and in short order, almost like a rocket ship to like $3, because there's really not that much volume on the VRVP here. There's a big gap, right? Once you get past like 260, you're gonna go right to $3 in no time here for XRP. Okay. But yeah, downside, we were trying to talk about the downside targets. XRP could get some support, like I said, at like $2.20. We do have a lot of support here at $2.40 already, but we could get some more support at $2.20. And then $2 is going to be a good level for psychological level that XRP investors are going to try to defend. Let me go ahead and turn on some of the moving averages here, because the moving averages are also going to provide some support here as well. All right, on XRP. XRP is actually, besides SUI, it's like my number 2 cryptocurrency to own this weekend. I think if Bitcoin does start threatening all-time highs here, you're going to see XRP and SUI just tear it up. All right, I see a request here for NAIR. All right, we'll take a look at NAIR. Appreciate the requests. All right, so yeah, so XRP has some support here on the 50-day moving average at $2.30. Then it has some more support on the 200-day moving average at $2.16. And I didn't mention the 21 EMA, but for those that use the 21 EMA, which is this white line, you also have support at $2.30. So there's really not much downside for XRP, in my opinion. You got the moving averages, and you got the VRVP, saying that XRP has a lot of support. And then there's also the XRP army, which Porky knows very well. And they're not going to let XRP go down. And if Bitcoin goes up to new all-time highs, what do you think that XRP army is going to do? They're going to recruit new members into the XRP army, and more money is going to get poured into XRP. And XRP is going to probably be one of the first cryptocurrencies to make new all-time highs right next to Bitcoin. Okay, so that's my take on XRP. Okay, we just talked about XRP. We'll take a look at Ethereum, which also has a good following. Okay, but it's been disappointing their followers the last few months, but it's showing that it still wants to be nice to you guys and earn your respect and trust here again. So let's take a look at the Ethereum. I got a lot of stuff going on here. Let me get rid of this here. Here we are. We're looking at Ethereum trading at 25.85, up 1.4% today. And let's see. Ethereum Ethereum is probably going to get squeezed in between the moving averages here on the 100 and the 200. The 100 giving support at 24.93. We kind of used that as a support yesterday. We kind of violated it a little bit, but we got above it, thank God. All right, so I can see Ethereum just ping-ponging, bouncing between 24.93 and also the 200-day moving average at 27.02. Ethereum needs to cool down a little bit. It's been overheated and overbought on the RSI here. Okay, when this RSI gets below 70, right now the RSI is at 73. When the RSI gets below 70, maybe Ethereum could start trying to make a run for it to higher prices and get above that 200-day moving average and actually break past it and stay above it. So my target, my upside target in the near term is $2,700 on Ethereum. And my downside near-term target is $24.93 or $2,500 even. Okay. If you're buying Ethereum at $2,500 or in the low 2,500s, you're doing all right. And then if you're day trading it, I would just put the stop loss below that 100 moving average. Maybe like $24.90 would be where I put the stop loss for Ethereum. Okay. But yeah, if Ethereum, I'm going to have to get rid of some of these lines here because I don't think they'll no longer apply unless we're going to go down to lower prices here on Ethereum. But I think I'll just do a quick Fibonacci analysis here and we'll figure out where the upside target could be for Ethereum if it continues being bullish. The 1618 is saying that we could see a $3,300 Ethereum in the near future here. Okay. Near future or maybe later on in the future, I have no idea, but $3,300 seems to be a target zone here. All right, so if Ethereum does decide to go down and break below that 100 moving average sitting at 24.93, then we do have a deep retracement. We could see Ethereum come down to $2,000, which is where the 50 and the 21 EMA is sitting at. So I think there should be some last line of defense support for Ethereum at like 20, we'll say between $2,000 and $2,100. If you can get filled in that area, I think you're doing all right. That's if you can get filled in this area. If Bitcoin goes all-time highs this weekend or next week, you won't see a $2,000 Ethereum. You'll most likely see that $3,000 Ethereum. Okay. But let me go into the VRVP here real quick, and we'll see what the VRVP has to say about Ethereum and these price targets and levels. Wow, okay, interesting. Okay, so all right, so here we are. We got value area high sitting at $2,500. So I think $2,500 should be some good support for Ethereum. All right, like I said, you should be, if you're day trading it, you want to be buying near the low 2,500s. But let me zoom out here a little bit more. We'll see what the VRVP as I gather more data. I got data going back to all the way to February of 2024 now. And this is what we're seeing now on the VRVP. So if Ethereum continues being bullish, then all right, this thing just because I zoomed out too much here. But if Ethereum continues being bullish, we have a gap. And then the next high volume node is at $3,100 for Ethereum. That could be some resistance. You know, I think after Ethereum gets past $3,000, there's gonna be some people saying, "Oh my God, it's at $3,000. Let me time for me to sell," and it might even push past $3,000 and go to $3,100 before the selling is over. Okay. But after $3,100, there's a little bit of a gap there. But then you got the value area high at $3,300, and that is confluent in agreeing with the Fibonacci analysis here. So $3,300 should be your long-term target on Ethereum. The VRVP says so, and so does this Fibonacci analysis. So I would be targeting $3,300. I don't know when that's going to happen. I'm not a psychic. I'm just a chart analysis here. But it's saying that $3,300 could probably happen. I would say sometime later on this year. Could be 4th of July. Could be next week. Who knows? Oh man, just got some water in my eye. Oh. All right, so that's Ethereum. Then I got this request. I think someone wanted to look at WattKS. That's new to me. Have you guys Trade in Porky. Have you guys ever heard of Watt KS? I don't know if that's a typo or if that was a request, but yeah, that's probably a typo. Let's see, USD. Yeah, I never heard of that one, and I can't find it here either. And if that's something that I gotta look for on Deck Screener, then that's gonna be a hard pass for me. I'm gonna have to say no to that, dog. That's gonna be a no, dog. I don't do anything that requires Deck Screener because that will get me banned on TikTok. YouTube doesn't care, but anything that involves using Deck Screener gets me in trouble with TikTok, so I'm not gonna do that. We'll do Near Protocol USD, and I think I'm gonna be finishing up the live stream. I do want to go for a nice bike ride and kind of lower my blood pressure after all the craziness in cryptocurrency. So yeah, I gotta make sure I get my exercise in for today. I'll be doing that after this live stream. But yeah, I just want to read some of these comments here before I go into Near Protocol. Let's see. Porky was saying, "How you doing, David?" All right, and then David is saying, "Doing well, lurking and working." Porky's like, "Very nice. I'm doing well. Ready for the weekends?" Okay. All right, and then Porky's saying, "Yeah, thinking the market will stop the chop and make a choice this weekend." That would be great if we could finally get some resolution. I think there should be some resolution this weekend. At least by Sunday close, when we close the weekly candle on Bitcoin, we should definitely get some resolution around that time. But yeah, let's look at Near, and then oh my god, again some last minute requests here. I got somebody that wants to look at Caspa and Stacks. Well, I remember seeing Ross in the chat. I'll definitely get you in there, Ross. Appreciate the request for SXT. And then we're gonna look at Casper after that, and then I'm gonna try to look at Bitcoin. Guys, that's it for requests. I gotta end the stream after that. You have to be on the lookout for my next live stream. I'll go live around Sunday, maybe around the same time or a little bit later, around dinner time maybe. And yeah, if you feel like you want me to go over your requests around and I missed one of your requests, just stick to the come check out the Sunday live stream, okay? But yeah, let's get into it here. We're looking at Near Protocol trading at $2.84, down 1.18% today. We got the VRVP here showing us the levels that we should be concerned about here and looking for. And right now, you know, with Near Protocol trading at $2.85, I do see a high volume node here below it at $2.56. That could be a good support area. Right now, we are currently we have a high volume node here above us at $3.30. That seems to be where Near Protocol topped out at around about last weekend, okay? But you have the value area low at $3.80, and then you have the POC at like 522, and then the value area high at 773. When you have the price currently trading below all three of these, when you're trading below the value area high, the POC, and the value area low, that tells me that you are actually very undervalued. Okay, if you're above all of these, then you're kind of overvalued. Okay, and you're most likely going to come back into the range in between the two white lines here. So the fact that this thing is below the two white lines leads me to believe that there's a lot of upside for Near Protocol. Might be worth throwing your hat in the ring. I know this is like an AI crypto or related to AI, so there's another use case. I like that. The fact that there's a possible use case here. All right, yeah, Ross is asking me. Yeah, Ross, I was thinking about doing like a separate standalone video that talks about the VRVP and explains how to use the VRVP. You should go check me out on YouTube to go see my videos, but I'll probably I could probably do like a video and put it up on TikTok as well, talking about the VRVP and how to use it. Okay. But you got me right now, and I'll just give you the target prices here, and then one day we'll have to do a little bit of an education on the VRVP. Appreciate that request. Thank you for making that known to me, because I was thinking about doing a standalone video just talking about the VRVP and just the VRVP. Yeah. All right. So yeah, if you continue being bullish on Near Protocol, I'm expecting value area low to be the first target price in the near term at $3.08, and then of course you got high volume node levels here above you in the $4.20 area. And then I would expect this to mean revert and get back to the POC at some point. I think this thing wants to get back to $5.20. And when it does, there's going to be a lot of selling pressure, because everybody that bought in those areas are going to want to sell to break even. And it's just an easy target for people that use the VRVP to be like, yeah, I'm going to put my my sell order in at $5.20. And I'm going to start shorting this thing when it gets to $5.20, because they know that there's people that want to get out at $5.20. So they're going to start selling and shorting it at that area. Okay. But once you get past $5.20, then you got another high volume node here at $6.15, and then another high volume at $6.90. So there's a lot of upside targets here for Near Protocol. It's a good one, I think, to get into. And you let's see if what you got for support here with the moving averages. Just on the daily time frame here, you are below most of the moving averages here. So the moving averages are going to act as resistance. You do have the 50 that could provide support at 273, and then you have the 21 EMA at 270. So 270 needs to hold. If you don't hold 270, then you might come down, revisit the lows here at 229, and then maybe even if you get very bearish, then you might lose that and go down to $2. And if you got, I think $2 would be a really good area to scoop up some Near Protocol if it does get down there. And then you just put your stop loss at like $1.70, $1.80, and hope that you don't get stopped. Hope that you're catching maybe a double bottom here. All right, so that was Near Protocol. We'll get an SXT and then Caspa and then back to Bitcoin, and then I'm done for the day. All right, so XST. USD, Space and Time? Is that the name of the crypto? Space and Time? Has anybody ever heard of this crypto before? Just check it on Binance, see if I get more data. What the hell? Alright, is this a brand new cryptocurrency? Or were you trying to make a request for stacks? I'm gonna do it as is, as you wrote it. You wrote down SXT. All right. Which exchange do I want to use? I'll just do it on Coinbase. Okay. So we're looking at Space and Time cryptocurrency on Coinbase. This thing started trading last week, May 8th. Okay. Ross is saying that it's a new cryptocurrency, and he's saying that Microsoft is... So this coin is a coin that was created by Microsoft and is trading on Coinbase. Okay, and I mean, it has the high... It has the big players that it needs to actually get some support behind it. But you know, just on a daily time frame here, I don't have that many candles because this thing came out last week. So there's no moving averages here for me. There's basically no data. There's like nothing here. Can I even do a VRVP on it? All right, give me everything that you got. I want all the indicators. Can you give me anything? I got the VRVP saying that the POC is at 14 cents. The value area low is at 13 cents. So you should be buying at 13 cents, like kind of like right now, using just the VRVP. And then the value area high is 15 cents. So you could buy at 13, sell at 15. You're just trading that range right now. I don't really have that much data. This is going to be a very short and sweet analysis here. Let me go in the 1 hour time frame. See what I could get with 1 hour. So 1 hour time frame. Same deal. Value area low 13 cents, 15 cents on the value area high. POC at 14 cents. So majority of people have bought at 14. You're very lucky if you can get it for 13, and you should be selling at 15 if you're day trading this. If you can, I don't think you can day trade. Is there even futures leverage trading on this? Probably not. Maybe there might be some futures trading on Binance Exchange. Maybe. Yeah, I don't really have much to go off of here. It says on the 1 hour time frame you should have sold 10 o'clock this morning. So maybe there might be some downward price action in the near term here. Stochastics are pretty low on the 1 hour time frame. So maybe you might be considering buying. I would say buy, because after the red dot on the market cipher B, there should be a green dot saying that you should buy. So you're just waiting for that green dot. When you see the green dot come in, then you should have bought whatever you were planning on buying, because this thing's probably going to go up, probably back up to 14 cents. Maybe it goes up to 15 cents. It has to break past 14 cents to get up to 15 cents, obviously. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are going to be breaking even at 14 cents. So that's going to be the price to beat if this thing's going to continue being bullish. And that's it. Short and sweet. All right, moving on to Caspa. Yeah, we'll take a look at Mexi Exchange. Caspa currently trading at 12 cents, up 3.2% today. Well, we'll go into the daily time frame here, see what's done and where it could go. I'm zooming out here, trying to get more data from the VRVP here. Hopefully this isn't too messy for you guys. Let me get rid of the movement averages. We'll stick to the VRVP for now. And I have point of control at like roughly 12 cents, 11.118 to be exact. We're slightly above that POC. Hopefully we can use that as support. But if you get past roughly 12.5 cents here, you got a drop in the VRVP, and this thing might get some resistance at 15 cents. And then some more resistance at the value area high at like 16.5 cents. So those are your near-term take profit targets on Caspa. Should be about like 16 cents or 15 cents. And if we for some reason become bearish and we lose roughly 11.5 cents, you got a drop in the VRVP volume here. There is maybe some support at like 10.5 cents, maybe some support at 9.5 cents, but the value area low is sitting at like 8.5 cents, and then there's also another high volume at like 7.5 cents. So if you lose this, you could come down dropping pretty fast, and you might not get any support until 7.5, 8.5 cents. Keep that in mind. Moving on to putting in some moving averages on here. You do have moving averages below you. The 200-day should provide support at 11 cents. Then you got the 100-day providing support at like roughly 10 cents. Hopefully you guys are able to see that. I'll kind of zoom in a little bit. And then you got some more support at 8.5 cents, which is where the 50-day moving average is sitting at. So the VRVP kind of agrees. Like, you can see that the VRVP kind of agrees where the moving averages are at. This high volume. Like this high volume at 9.5 cents corresponds to the 100-day. This high volume here at like 8.5 cents corresponds to the 50-day moving average. So this is how you can like marry the two. You got the VRVP and the moving averages kind of agreeing where the support is going to be for Caspa. And then of course on a daily time frame here, looking at the market cipher B, hopefully you're able to see market cipher B. You got a red dot here that came on today. Okay, so there might be some selling pressure going on. If we lose, you know, the POC, maybe we come down to the 200-day moving average. We'll see how it reacts. Can we get a bounce off the 200-day and then go to higher prices on Caspa? And if Caspa does go to higher prices, then, you know, like I said, 15 cents and 16 cents should be your target zones in the near term. And I'll try to zoom out some more. Yeah, I think, yeah, we haven't really seen Caspa get higher than what's the high water mark here? What's the highest high that it's seen? Back here in August of 2024, we saw a Casper at like 20 cents, 21 cents. So that should be your long-term take profit target. Because whoever bought at 21 cents is like, God damn it. I don't want to sell for a loss. I'll wait until it comes back to 21 cents and then I'll be able to break even. And you and that guy can sell at 21 cents and you'll be doing all right for yourselves. You'll be doing all right. He'll be okay because he broke even. But yeah, let's get into Bitcoin, and then that's gonna be it today, guys. I appreciate you guys coming to the live stream. Don't forget to hit that like button if you joined the analysis. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the follow button so you can come join this Meet Damien community and watch some more videos like this. And yeah, share it with your friends and family. Tell them that, hey, you know, this guy gets really in depth with the analysis on your cryptocurrencies. I also can do stocks, and I can do oil or gold or whatever asset out there. So it's not just crypto. If you have someone in stock market world that's struggling, send them my way, and then we'll look at your stocks as well. But just as a quick review of Bitcoin and where it could go next, we have Bitcoin at $103,700. I started the stream at $104,000, so it's slightly down for like the last hour or two here. We do have the $106,000 sell wall. We got to get past that if we're going to go try to test all-time highs. I have done a Fibonacci analysis here that says that if Bitcoin does get up to $106,000, we have a 1618 that says that 113, maybe $114,000 Bitcoin could be coming up on deck. Maybe that might happen next week. We first have to get past 106K. I also have some levels here that we need to defend. We need to defend $101,400, which has been defended earlier this week on a couple of days here, on a couple of occasions. If we lose $101,000 Bitcoin, then, you know, we could come down to the 0.382 retracement level at 98,900, or we might even come further down, most likely to the 0.236 retracement at $97,000 Bitcoin. And I believe the VRVP agrees with that, because if I turn that on, you'll see, you know, we have a white line here. No, that's not it. I gotta zoom out here so you can see how the data comes out. It's getting a little bit messy here. Sorry about that. But the POC is saying that $97,000 Bitcoin should be our last line of defense before Bitcoin goes to lower prices. So yeah, $97,000. Might want to put in some buy orders in there, see if you get lucky. But yeah, that's my analysis there for Bitcoin and crypto. And you'll just have to see me on my next live stream on Sunday around the same time, or maybe a little bit later. Depends on, you know, what time I get done with my grocery shopping. All right. All right, guys. Take care. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream, and I hope you guys do well with whatever investment you decide to get yourself into. Take care, guys.